3-0 Plymouth State leads in the top of the 7th here in both teams' LEC openers. Plymouth State, the home team in this game that was originally scheduled to be played in Plymouth, but Plymouth Field unavailable due to snow. The 0-2 offering from Miller. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and that one caught by Haley Birch to keep this game at 3-0. Bases full of Beacons. A 1-2 count for Morse, the Beacons captain. 1-2 pitch. Morse check swing. Did she go? No, the Beacons catch a break. Morse is very close to have gone, but instead it moves to 2-2. Morse just trying to look to extend this game with the 3-hole hitter up next. 2-2 pitch to Morse. Swung on and missed. The 6th strikeout of the game for Miller, and that'll do it. UMass Boston falls 3-0 in their LEC opener here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. As Plymouth State, behind a brilliant pitching performance from Caitlin Miller, they shut out the Beacons 3-0. The Beacons' 4th loss of the season, all by shutout. They're second in their past 3 games. So the Beacons limited to just 3 hits. Plymouth State on the other side coming up with a strong offensive performance for Plymouth State with 7 hits in 6 innings. As Plymouth State improves to 9-8 on the year, the Beacons fall to 13-4. We'll bring you the second game, which should start right about 5 o'clock here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. You'll have to exit out. First, we'd like to give you a look ahead for UMass Boston. As UMass Boston will have game 2 today starting at about 5, and then the Beacons will play on Saturday a home doubleheader against Eastern Connecticut State, and they'll keep on playing conference games next Saturday at UMass Dartmouth, and then a home doubleheader against Keene State College, who was picked to finish second behind the Beacons. Finally, let's take a moment to give a shout out to our production crew. My name is Seth Dorensky, your producer and play-by-play guy. Ariel Galucci, your director, trying to keep the webcast as active as possible despite some early on technical difficulties. And Rachel Mayette on camera. Thanks so much for watching, folks. My name is Seth Dorensky saying so long. The Beacons drop game 1. We'll have game 2 for you on a different webcast link. You have to exit out of this one and go to the new one. That game will start right about 5 o'clock between the Beacons and Panthers. Welcome back for game number 2 here at the UMB softball field. Plymouth State, a game 1 winner. The Panthers, who came in picked 7th in the LEC preseason poll, down the number 1 ranked UMass Boston Beacons by a 3-0 score, handing the Beacons their 4th loss of the season and their 4th shutout loss of the season as well. It was Caitlin Miller who was just phenomenal. Miller gave up just the 6 hits in the game, 3 of them coming in that 7th inning, stranded the bases loaded with 1 out. Overall, Miller striking out 6, including Caitlin Morse, with the bases loaded and 2 down, walking just the 1 to improve to 5-1. The tough luck loser, Jess Greenspan, who went 6 innings and allowed 3 runs, 1 earned for the game. It was Greenspan giving up quite a few hits, 9 in total, but just the 1 earned run that came in the 2nd. The Beacons giving up a pair of unearned runs in the 5th. Both teams finishing with 1 error in the game. The offensive leader in that first game was Nina Murray, who went 3 for 3 in the contest. Emma Rhodes had a big game as well, finishing with a double and an RBI. For UMass Boston, Kira Pressmack went a team-leading 3 for 3 with a trio of infield singles. Alyssa Tulley added 2 of her own as we're about to get game number 2 underway. Very similar looking lineups for these two squads. For UMass Boston, they'll go with the same pitcher. Couple changes in the lineup. Taylor Paulina moves from 6th to 2nd. She'll hit 2nd between Braga and Vento. Raskowski and Bellata hit 4th and 5th. Morse moves down from the 2-hole to the 6-hole. And Tulley, Mitziaris, and Pressmack finish out the lineup for Plymouth State. The exact same lineup. Nina Murray, Rachel Morrissey, Katie Kennard, Abri Davis, Jen Landers, Cassidy Emerson, Haley Birch, Emma Rhodes, and Deb Morrill. The lone change is in the circle. Allison Moylan, the top pitcher statistically for Plymouth State, will step into the circle for game number 2. The junior righty out of Methuen, Massachusetts, comes in with the team best 2.20 ERA, although she does have a 2-4 record. Her 10th appearance and 6th start. 1 save, 1 complete game. Second on the team with 28 2/3 innings pitched. 8 strikeouts, 5 walks. She'll look to get Plymouth State the sweep against UMass Boston, who are playing their Little East Conference opener. This is Plymouth State's home opener, despite the fact it's being played in Boston. First games the Beacons have played here at the UMB softball field in 2017. As the two teams are finishing up warm-ups right now on the infield, and we'll take a look around the rest of the conference. Some other game 1 still going on right now. 2 games were postponed, as Eastern Connecticut State and Tufts postponed for the 2nd or 3rd time this spring. Springfield College at Western Connecticut State postponed as well. The games that we can give you updates on: Rhode Island College at Bridgewater State tied 2-2 in the top of the 5th. Roger Williams leads UMass Dartmouth down in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, 1-0 in the bottom half of the 4th inning. While we've got some time, let's take a look around the rest of Beaconville, as UMass Boston's baseball team is in action later tonight. That's going to be a cold one. It's already pretty chilly here with the sun not peeking out from the clouds all day. Sunset set for 7:15 tonight. The baseball team will host Suffolk tonight at 7:30 in the second half of a doubleheader that was suspended due to rain and snow 2 weeks ago. The Beacons took the first one 6-5 with a walk-off. Lacrosse traveling to Eastern Connecticut State on Sunday at 1, looking for their 2nd conference win. They downed Western Connecticut State by an 11-8 score this past Saturday. Men's tennis travels to actually host Rhode Island College on Saturday at 1, looking to move to 2-0 after they defeated rival UMass Dartmouth on Saturday 9-0. Right now we'll take an audio break, and then we'll be back with the top of the 1st inning as UMass Boston looks for the split here in Boston against the Plymouth State University Panthers. Allison Moylan is the starter for Plymouth State here in game number 2. Moylan, who also serves as an outfielder for Plymouth State, although she did not appear in game 1. 2-4 on the year, making her 10th appearance, 6th start, 1 complete game and 1 save. 28 2/3 innings pitched, 43 hits, 17 runs, 9 earned, 8 strikeouts versus 5 walks. Allowed 5 doubles and 1 home run. Opponents hitting a robust .361 against her, the highest opponent's batting average of any player for Plymouth State's 4-woman rotation. As Braga takes the first pitch low, and then a ball in the outside corner, 1-1. Braga did not have a great game number 1 for UMass Boston, as she and Moore struggled at the top. Puts one down the third base line. It's going to stay fair. The throw down is not in time, and Braga works a leadoff single there. Didn't have to hit it far. Got it just deep enough, and it stayed fair for her. Her first hit of the day and conference leading 23rd hit. Bring up Taylor Paulina, who last season she hit 9th for pretty much the entire season despite hitting 300. Sophomore from Woonsocket, Rhode Island, has moved up to 8th to 6th, and now hitting 2nd. She takes an incredibly low fastball for strike 1. It was down the middle, just about her ankles. 0-1 to the Beacon center fielder, a first-team all-conference player a year ago. Had a nice game number 1. Tries to put down the bunt. Awkwardly slices that one foul, 0-2. Taylor in that first contest had a single to lead off the 7th, finished 1 for 3 with a pair of groundouts. The 0-2 to her is hit back to the pitcher, who tries to go to second, and the throw is in there in time. No double play, as Moylan was slow to pick that one up and nearly didn't get the lead runner. Go down as a fielder's choice, 1-6, and Braga is retired. So the Beacons trade base runners with 1 down. They'll bring up Roxanne Vento. Vento went 0 for 2 in the first game, a strikeout swinging, a fly out to left, and a walk. As the ball bounces away, it'll go for a wild pitch, and Paulina will move up to second base. UMass Boston has not suffered back-to-back losses all season. They stand at 13-4 after their Game 1 loss. Plymouth State had brought a 3-game losing streak into today's doubleheader. Snapped out one in the opener, looking for the doubleheader sweep. They've done that quite a few times, although not against the same team. Down in Florida, they played 14 games, earned a sweep on opening day of Rutgers University Newark and MCLA, and also swept Wesleyan and Carleton College on the 22nd of March. Since then, though, they had lost 3 of 4. As it's 3-0 to Vento, the Beacon's 3-hole hitter, with Paulina at second base, and she'll take it all the way outside for ball 4. This is a Plymouth State team that came in to today's action first in the conference in fewest walks allowed, but also the fewest strikeouts. They had 6 strikeouts and 1 walk in game 1, with Miller throwing the complete game shutout. See what Moylan can do here, already having issued 1 free pass. Beacon's walk, a fielder's choice, and a single have led to the 2 runners on with 1 out as Gia Raskowski takes the first pitch low. Gia's in right field for game 2. Rarity for her. She normally catches game 2 after playing in right for game 1, but the Beacons maybe sensing the need to get at least 1 on opening day as Raskowski takes it on the outside corner, 1-1. Raskowski struck out swinging, walked, and flew out to left in her 3 at-bats of game 1. The Beacons were limited to just 6 hits. Pitch is fouled down the third base line, and it'll be 1-2. 1-2 to Raskowski. Pauline is out there at second, reached on a fielder's choice. Vento worked a 4-pitch walk. Beacons looking for their first runs of the season here at the UMB softball field and their first runs of the conference season. 1-2 pitch to Raskowski. Breaking ball pops it up well out of play. And it catches the glass windows of the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. Not quite enough velocity behind it to shatter those windows. It's been a few years since we've seen broken glass. 1-2 pitch to Raskowski. Rise ball held off, 2-2. For Plymouth State defensively, Emerson in left, Morrissey in center, and Murray in right. From left to right on the infield, it goes Landers, Morrill, Rhodes, and Kennard. As Raskowski hits that one up the middle, it's going to fall in front of Morrissey. Not enough to score the runner. Now they're going to advance. No, they'll pull Paulina back as Morrissey bobbled it. Not enough to score the run, and the bases are loaded. Finishing off the defensive alignment for Plymouth State, Haley Birch is behind the plate, and Allison Moylan, your Game 2 starter. She's in a bit of trouble here in the top of the first. A single, a walk, and another single have loaded the bases for Ari Bellata, the Beacons' designated player out of Leominster, Massachusetts. Ari went 0 for 3 in Game 1. A pop up to the third baseman, pop up to the first baseman, and a fly out as she is going to hit into a fielder's choice, just barely beating out the throw from the catcher Birch on what would have been a huge double play. That erases Paulina. And Vento now at third, Raskowski to second, and Bellata at first for Caitlin Morse, the Beacons captain out of Arlington, Massachusetts. Went 0 for 4 in that first game with a pair of strikeouts and a pair of groundouts. It's the lowest she's batted this season, trying to get her started. The 1-0. That one catches the outside corner, 1-1. Beacons looking to get something going here. Push across at least one run and it maybe gets you started as they'll throw Jess Greenspan again in Game 2. 1-1 to Morse is hit softly over to Morrill. Morrill goes down to a knee. The throw across. It's close, but they get Morse, and the Beacons leave the bases loaded here in the top of the first. Take our first look at Jess Greenspan, at least here in Game 2 in just a moment. So the Beacons leave the bases loaded in the top half of the first inning. See Jess Greenspan on your screen right now, freshman out of Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Took the loss in Game 1, 9-3. Her ERA should probably go down after allowing just one earned run on the 3 total runs in Game 1. 50 total strikeouts. Looking at Greenspan, this will be her 11th start, 14th total appearance, 9-3, 76 in the third innings, 50 strikeouts versus 21 walks. In that first game, Greenspan went 6 innings, allowed 8 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, just the 1 walk, and actually had 2 strikeouts. So it'll be the same batting lineup for Plymouth State. It'll start with Nina Murray, the senior right fielder, 3 of 4 in that first game with a run scored. She pops that one out to left field over the head of Pressmack, and that's going to go for extra bases. Murray looking towards third base, and she's going to take a wide turn, but hold up there. It's Plymouth State, who had a leadoff base runner in the first 5 innings yesterday. 5 innings in Game 1, gets one to start game number 2 as Murray doubles to left center. She's in scoring position for Rachel Morrissey, who we saw put down a pair of sack bunts in Game 1. Morrissey, 2 sack bunts and a flyout. Fielded by Tulley. Goes over to first, and that gets the job done as there's a runner at third base with just 1 down. Morrissey's 3rd sack bunt of the day. Brings up Katie Kennard. Tied for second on the team in RBI coming into the day with 5. Kennard went 1 for 3 in game 1 with a single pop up to short and a fielder's choice. Takes the first pitch off the outside corner, ball 1. These are the two toughest batters statistically in Plymouth State's lineup coming up, Kennard and then Bree Davis, two seniors who have had great careers for Bruce Addison and Plymouth State. Greenspan behind 1-0, make it 2-0. See if Greenspan tries to go after here with first and second open. Beacons did turn a double play in game number 1. Played very good defense. With the exception of the one error that led to 2 runs coming in. 2-1, 1 down. Runner on third is Murray, who led off with the double and then advanced to third on a sac bunt. Count even now at 2-2 as Greenspan has gotten consecutive strikes. Looking to retire the LEC's first team all-conference first baseman for the 3rd time today. That one bounces up there and the count runs full. Kennard able to hold off. UMass Boston with no runs on the day. Plymouth State with 3, earning the 3-0 shutout victory. Plymouth State has won 10 of the past 11. Beacons, though, a big win in last year's regular season finale to earn a spot in the LEC tournament. As Kennard goes down looking. Big second out for Greenspan, who caught the outside corner. According to our Game 2 home plate umpire, that's Wayne Harslow, with Christopher Dion moving to the base pass. 2 down for Bree Davis with the runner on third. First pitch to Bree. Catches the outside corner, same exact spot, 0-1. Bree in game 1 had an RBI single in the 5th after going 0 for her first 2. A ground out to short and a line out to right. Part of that 2-run 5th. Quickly behind 0-2. Offense has not been the issue this season for the Beacons, but against a very good Plymouth State pitching staff, they've yet to score in 8 innings of work. It's the 0-2. That one's very close, but apparently just off the corner, 1-2. Much to the chagrin of the partisan crowd behind home plate. 1-2 to Davis. Murray still standing out there at third base after the double and the sac bunt with 1 down. 1-2 offering a little low, 2-2. Plymouth State came in as a top pitching team in the conference. The Beacons, one of the top hitting teams, and thus far Plymouth State has had the edge. 2-2, 2 down. Runner on third. Breaking ball a bit high, and the count runs full for the second straight batter. Good news is that in softball, you see a lot of pitchers who have rubber arms can pitch 2, even 3 games in a day. That's especially pertinent with UMass Boston having 2 of their 3 pitchers with some shoulder injuries. As the 3-2 bounces up there, and Davis, after going down 0-2, works the walk. Runners at the corners with 2 down for Jen Landers, the third baseman. Landers had a decent game number 1. Landers, pair of singles and a walk in her first 3 at-bats. Also had an RBI. Fouls off the first pitch behind 0-1. Landers, the third baseman out of Berlin, New Hampshire, came into today with just 3 hits and 25 at-bats, had 2 game 1 alone. Runners at the corners with 2 down. Greenspan looking to keep this game at 0-0 on the bottom of the first. Landers takes it on the outside corner, 0-2. Greenspan looking to work around the early trouble. My name is Seth Dorensky, bringing you both halves of today's Little East Conference opening doubleheader between these two teams. 0-2 pitch is popped fouled on the left field line. It'll get out of play. This is the third conference doubleheader of the season. WestCon swept UMass Dartmouth at UMass Dartmouth. A 10-inning win and then a 4-run top of the 7th to earn a 7-3 win in Game 2. EastCon and Rhode Island College split at Rhode Island College on Sunday. The Beacons will see the Warriors of Eastern Connecticut State this Saturday in their official home opener. This game scheduled to start at 1 p.m. 0-2, 2 on, 2 outs. Bottom of the first, ball hit up the middle. Morris ranges, bobbles, and gets it to Braga in time for a fielder's choice. So Greenspan works around a double and a walk to get out of the first unscathed. We head to the second. Can this Beacons offense find a way to get on the board? We're about to find out. Seven, 8, 9 for UMass Boston in the second after they left the bases loaded in the first inning. Alyssa Tulley takes the first pitch over the head of Deb Morrill. She's got 3 hits on the day, and she's a leadoff base runner for UMass Boston here in the second. Her third single of the day, 3 for 4 overall. And I believe hits in each of her last 3 at-bats. As Tulley grounded out to third in her first at-bat before singling on the left side in each of her last 2, and she's out there for Lauren Mitziaris. We'll see if the Beacons trying to play small ball with Mitziaris. Couldn't get a bunt down in her second at-bat in game 1. Lauren popped up to second, popped up a bunt in the 5th, and then flew out to right for the first out of the 7th inning as the Beacons left the bases loaded down by 3. Mitziaris ahead 2-0 here. Tulley not much of a base stealer. Alyssa on the season, 1 for 1. Mitziaris ahead 2-0. Hits that ball over the head of Morrill, and there's 2 runners on here with no outs. Lauren Mitziaris' first hit of the day, and the Beacons in business here to start the second as they had a pair of hits in the first, 2 more here in the second. They've hit Allison Moylan much better than they hit Caitlin Miller. Didn't get a hit until their 9th batter of game 1. And coincidentally, it's the 9th batter right here, Kira Pressmack. A perfect 3 for 3 in game 1. Looking for her 4th hit, puts a bunt down foul. Owen 1 to Pressmack, who hails from Houston, Texas. 0-1 pitch, gets the bunt down foul this time. Much better bunt, but couldn't keep it within the fresh chalk, and it's 0-2, so Pressmack will have to hit away here. Pressmack played at Nimitz High School. Team MVP and first-team All-District player. Making her 17th appearance, 15th start. She's now 19 of 48 with 10 runs scored, 5 RBI. Pops that one up, and it's going to get out of play over the third base dugout. She's now riding a 5-game hit streak in which she's gone 8 of 17. Just under 500. And a perfect 4 for 4 on the base pass. Make that 5 for 5. She had 2 steals in the 3rd inning. Game number 1. The 0-2 pitch to her. Hits that one fair. Could be a difficult play. Moylan barehands it. Has no play. And Kira Pressmack is 4 for 4. When they made the phrase speed kills, they were talking about players like Kira Pressmack. If you don't instantly pounce on the ball and immediately look at the right base, you're not going to get Kira Pressmack. She's that fast. So the bases are loaded for the top of the order. Bring up Braga, who had a soft hit single down the third base line in her first at bat. Takes the first pitch just over the waist for strike one with the fastball. 0-1 to Braga, looking to get the Beacons on the board for the first time today. The bases are loaded with no outs in the top of the second. Takes that one on the outside corner. Tulley's at third. Mitziaris at second. Pressmack at first. All three single. Two to center. One back to the pitcher. Moylan looking to bear down here. The 0-2 offering from the junior. Swung on and missed. And Braga goes down swinging for the third time today. First strikeout of game number 2 for UMass Boston as Moylan picks it up in a key spot. And it'll bring up Taylor Paulina. Paulina hit into a fielder's choice her first time up. Hit it back to the pitcher. And she was able to get Braga at second. Paulina was then retired at home plate as Moylan went to the plate to get her on a force out with the bases loaded for the second out of the inning. The Beacons have hit better as the day has gone along. Their best offensive innings in game 1 were the 5th and the 7th. Had at least 2 hits in each inning to start game 2 as Paulina takes the first pitch off the corner, 1-0. Paulina moving up from the 6th hole to the 2 spot, the highest she's ever hit in the Beacons lineup. 1-0 for the sophomore center fielder. 1-0 pitch to her. She hits it right back to the third baseman. This is at least one. Birch's throw down to first. It's wide of the bag. And now Mitziaris is going to take off on the throwing error. And the Beacons finally on the board on the fielder's choice. And then the throwing error from Birch allowing the Beacons to get a run on the board. Roxanne Vento hits it up the middle, off the glove of Morrill for an RBI single, and the Beacons now lead 2-0. But first pitch to Gia Raskowski's. The Beacons now lead 2-0 here. 2 outs. Raskowski pops it up. Raskowski steps up. The Beacons lead 2-0 as Raskowski pops it foul. Still 2 on here with 2 outs. The Beacons with 2 runs in part because of the error by the catcher, and Raskowski strikes out. So the Beacons get 2 in the inning, but they still leave 2 more on. 5 left through 2 innings of play, and UMass through an inning and a half of play. UMass Boston leads 2-0. Bottom of the second inning, Plymouth State already with the base runner on. Cassidy Emerson greets Jess Greenspan with a single through the left side. Showing bunt and pulling it back is Haley Birch. Catcher who helped the Beacons out a little bit, throwing the ball wide of first base, allowing the Beacons to move up, one base runner to score and another runner to move up, which allowed UMass Boston to make it 2-0 as that ball's golfed out to left field, going back on it is Pressmack and unable to make the play. This has a chance to score a run. Pressmack's her throw to Braga is going to be wide. The run was going to score either way, and it's a single and an RBI double as Plymouth State answering back immediately to cut the deficit in half. Haley Birch plating Cassidy Emerson all the way from first base. For Birch, that's her second RBI of the season. Came in at 5 for 20. She rocketed that ball over the head of Pressmack. Plymouth State now with the tying run at second base and no outs for Emma Rhodes, the senior second baseman who had a nice day in game one. Takes the first pitch and puts it well behind the backstop for strike one. If you're Greenspan and the Beacons, you really would love to keep a lead right now after failing to score through the first 8 innings of play, getting 2 runs in the top half of the second, and now Plymouth State getting 1 back. You just want to keep this game at 2-1. Greenspan's 0-1, swung on and missed a breaking ball that Rhodes was well out ahead of. 0-2. Greenspan looking for the sign. She's given up a single and a double to start the inning. Another poor swing there from Rhodes. Vento applies the tag, and there's 1 down. Big strikeout there for Greenspan, who had just 2 in game 1. She already has 2 here in game number 2. Deb Morrill, the shortstop, steps up. Morrill was pinch hit for in game number 2 in her last at bat. Finished 1 for 2 with a single back to the pitcher and a ground out to the first baseman. Oh, 1-1 to the 9-hole hitters. UMass Boston holds a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the second inning. Despite these games being played in Boston, UMass Boston, the road team, because of an LEC bylaw that states that the original home team has to be the home team no matter where the games are played. So the Beacons dropping the first game 3-0 in their LEC opener and quote-unquote home opener. 1-2 now to Morrill, the sophomore shortstop. Had been in a bit of a hitting slump before getting that hit in her second at bat of game number 1. Behind in the count 1-2 with Birch still sitting out there at second, and she takes a pitch off her lead hip. That ball was pretty much out of the batter's box, but Morrill, in an attempt to get out of the way, takes it nonetheless. Now there's 2 runners on with 1 out for the leadoff hitter, Nina Murray, who doubled over the head, actually doubled into left center in her first at bat. A double here would tie it and potentially give her team the lead. Big spot for Murray, who takes a breaking ball low. This is the point you have to wonder about the endurance of Greenspan. Was never meant to pitch both games of a doubleheader when she came in, but with UMass Boston having their 2 of their other 3 arms injured, she's had to be a workhorse the past couple of games ever since returning to New England. Just misses with the fastball, quickly 2-0 to Murray. Murray's double in to start off this bottom of the first. That was her second on the year. She fouls that one well out of play into the visitors' bullpen. Came in hitting .250 with 9 runs, a double, and a triple. She's now hit safely in 8 of her last 13. 2-1 offering to her. A little bit low, 3-1. Greenspan has walked just 1 batter today, but she's in a tough spot here. 3-1 to the leadoff hitter, Murray. Freshman out of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, looks in. 2-1 out. That ball's fouled off, and she Runs the count full. Some more play off the wall over there on the Edward T. Barry ice rink. Big spot for Murray and Greenspan as the Beacons look to hold on to this lead for at least half an inning. They didn't score in the first game, fell 3-0. Leading 2-0 after the top of the second, but Plymouth State immediately answering with a single and an RBI double. Ball hits softly to Mitzi Yarish. She'll go to the bag for the second out, and that's the lone out, as there's now 2 runners in scoring position with 2 down for Rachel Morrissey, who's pretty much been the designated bunter today. 4 times she stepped to the plate, 3 bunts put down. A very successful bunter, but a bunter nonetheless. In her only true plate appearance, she flew out to left. Don't expect her to be putting down a bunt here as the first pitch to Morrissey on the inside half for strike 1. Rachel, the senior center fielder, came in with a home run and 5 RBI. 5 RBI tied for second on the team, but hasn't been given the chance to swing a lot. Stands at 5 of 24 on the season, and she rips that one almost off of her own player. Just fouls. That one nearly took out Haley Birch, who hit an RBI double earlier in the inning, but has been stranded over there on the left side of the inning for the past 4 batters. The good news is Morrissey was Birch was standing in foul territory either way, so would not have been an out, but it would have been a painful welt. 0-2 to Rachel Morrissey as Greenspan looks to strand a pair of runners in scoring position. Breaking ball foul tip, strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning, the 3rd overall, and Greenspan leaves a pair on through 2 innings. UMass Boston 2, Plymouth State 1, here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Top of the 3rd inning, UMass Boston will bring Bellata, Morse, and Tulley to the plate after scoring 2 in the second. Ari Bellata takes the first pitch off the corner for ball 1. Bellata hit into a fielder's choice back to the pitcher in her only at-bat of game 2. Takes that second pitch and fouls it off towards Beacon's third base coach, Josh Bartley. Tried to team up for a kick play over to a player at the end of the bench for Plymouth State unsuccessfully. Sometimes it's the little things when you're very cold and a little bit bored. 1-1 to the Beacon's designated player, well outside 2-1. UMass Boston scored 2 runs in that second inning, courtesy of 4 singles and a Plymouth State error. They've left 5 through the first 2 innings. Plymouth State has left 4 on 3 hits. This could be a much higher scoring game, too. Already matched the amount of runs from game 1 as the count runs to 3-1. Three-one pitch, well low. Bellotta works the walk. And she's a leadoff base runner. The Beacons have now had a leadoff runner on for 3 consecutive innings. Caitlin Morris steps to the plate, the Beacons second baseman who has struggled today. Grounded out to the shortstop with the bases loaded and 2 down in the first game. Went 0 for 4 in the first game with a strikeout, 2 strikeouts, and a pair of groundouts. Showing bunt pulls it back, and Bellotta hops back to the bag. Not much of a base stealer over there at first base, but a good base runner, just not one who's fleet of foot. Have to figure the Beacons potentially bunting here, just trying to get Bellotta over. Morse has not had her best offensive day. Gets the bunt down this time. Good play by the third baseman, Landers, and gets it across. That was nearly through the 2 charging players on the left side, and Morse gets the job done. This Landers made a nice play to get the only out Plymouth State was going to be able to get. Bellotta moves to second for Alyssa Tulley. Tulley has been red hot today. 3 hits and 4 at-bats, including a leadoff single to center and a run scored in the second. Rather, she did not score. It was Lauren Mitsiaris and Kira Pressmack. Tags that ball, but foul down the left field line. 1-1. Tulley was just over the Mendoza line as a freshman, hitting close to 200. This year, though, hitting closer to 400, as this entire Beacons team has been really hitting well. Takes that pitch and immediately frustrated. Swung at a pitch that was high and outside the zone, unable to do anything with that, and it's 1-2. Bellotta out there at second base. The Beacons look to extend their lead back to 2 runs. Will be Tulley and then Lauren Mitsiaris, who both had singles in their lone at-bats. Tulley rips that ball foul and extends the at-bat. Alyssa's brother, Matt, a member of the UMass Boston baseball team for the first time. He's a senior. Attended Virginia Tech and Rollins University before joining the Beacons as a transfer. Tulley waits back on it, but not enough. Fouls it down the third base line. If nothing else, she's making Allison Moylan work. Alyssa, a couple years younger, just a sophomore. She's had a very strong sophomore season, a breakout campaign, in fact. 1-2 pitch. Tulley watches it wide, 2-2. Tulley already with 3 hits on the day, looking for her first RBI. Comes in with 8 on the year. And will rifle that ball into right center. That could be enough. Slowed down by the grass, but Bellotta taking off on impact, easily able to come home to score. And the Beacons lead 3-1 as Alyssa Tulley picks up hit number 4 of the day. So the Beacons get 1 with Tulley now on first base. And Lauren Mitsiaris will step up. 1 for 1 in game 2 with a single to center and a run scored. Mitsiaris reached the 100 hit mark against Bridgewater State this past Thursday. First pitch to Mitsiaris is hit out to right. This one should be playable out there with Nina Murray, and Murray camps under it for the second out of the inning. So Mitsiaris' first pitch swinging, can't do much with it, and he'll bring up the red-hot Kira Pressmack. Pressmack 4 for 4 on the day, 9 for her last 18 during a 5-game hitting streak. 20 for 49 overall in the season. As no matter what she does with this at-bat, she'll end the at-bat hitting at least 400. Not too shabby for the Beacons' 9-hole hitter. First pitch low for ball one. Pressmack played at the same high school as Brittany Griner, one of a number of talented athletes to come out of Nimitz High School. Did not attend Nimitz. She attended GW Carver. She rips that ball, but right at the first baseman. Nice play from Kennard. That might have been the hardest hit ball of the day for UMass Boston, but it's the first time Pressmack has been retired. Through 2.5, UMass Boston tacks on another run. They lead 3-1 over Plymouth State University in Game 2 of our doubleheader. Katie Kennard, who just made that nice defensive play to pick up the ball on one hop and keep it in front of her. Trying to avoid becoming a Bill Buckner, although that ball was hit a lot harder than that play back in 1986. Kennard, the first baseman, struck out looking her first at bat, trying to get something going here against Jess Greenspan in the bottom of the third. Kennard out of Concord, New Hampshire, making her 117th appearance. Came into today with 111 hits, 57 runs, 70 RBI, and 35 of those 111 hits for extra bases. Not going to get one here. Gigi Braga scoops and throws across on the softly hit ball to the shortstop for the first out of the bottom of the third inning.
Now to bat for the Panthers, number 17, Abree Davis.
Bring up one of the other seniors on this, rather upperclassmen on this Plymouth State team. Just a junior, Abree Davis. Attended Souhegan High School. Her first 2 years, she hit .290 or above with 28-plus hits and 9 total home runs. Hits this one softly over to Tulley, who scoops, has to make the play quickly, and does so for 2 quick outs here to start the third. 2 ground outs to the left side.
For the Panthers, number 15, Jen Landers.
And it'll bring up Jen Landers. Landers has played a strong defensive third base today. Came in hitting just 120 on the season, but has had a successful conference opener. Jen went 2 for 2 with the walk in game 1. Flares this one out towards right field. Coming in and making the play in foul territory is Gia Raskowski. It's a 3-pitch inning for Jess Greenspan and UMass Boston. And when you're only using one pitcher, it's got to feel pretty good to get her through a very quick and efficient inning. We head to the fourth. UMass Boston leads 3-1. Top of the order for UMass Boston in the 4th inning. Gigi Braga, the shortstop, leads off. She'll slap that one over to the shortstop. Morrow takes a while to pick it up, and that's going to be it. That's a tough one between a hit or a error. Morrow, if she had gotten out of the glove quicker, we're going to give it a hit. It's a difficult play for Morrow, but to be fair, most plays aren't as traditionally easy for a left-handed player on the left side. Morrow, a very good defensive player, but just couldn't get it over fast enough to get the speedy Braga, who's over there at first base. The conference leader in stolen bases this year, 7 of 8, a chance to potentially pick one up right now. Hasn't had many opportunities on the base pass today. 1-0 to Taylor Paulina. As Paulina takes it low, make it 2-0. Beacons had just 6 hits in game 1. They've already had 8 with no outs here in the 4th. Paulina has hit into a pair of fielders' choices today, including a key one that allowed a Beacons run to score as they tried to get the untraditional 5-2-3 double plays. That one hits Paulina on the front foot. Otherwise, Braga might have been able to advance to second and possibly third. And with 2 runners already on and no outs in the 4th, Bruce Addison comes out. This team does have quite a few other options pitching-wise. We haven't seen Kayla Matthew or Hannah Seidner. And we're going to see Seidner, the team's relief ace, leads the conference with her 2 saves on the year. And the New Hampshire Technical Institute transfer will make her first appearance of the day. 9th total appearance, 0 for 2 with 2 saves. 4.58 ERA, the highest on the squad, and 18 in the 3rd inning. She's allowed 29 hits, 17 runs, 12 earned. Does do pretty well when it comes to strikeouts with 13 of them versus 4 walks. But the first pitch she just released came out of her hand funky and didn't even make it 5 feet. It's going to be a straight swap, so Seidner will replace Moylan here with no outs in the 4th. Both of the runners currently on. Braga at second and Paulina at first. Those runners would be charged to Moylan if they did come across. Moylan's final line, 3 innings plus, allowed the 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Ended up with 1 walk and 1 strikeout and 1 hit by pitch. She can't get the win, is in line for the loss. So you see Seidner there. Seidner had a phenomenal freshman season at NHTI, which is a United States Collegiate Athletic Association school. It's not an NCAA school, so not D1, D2, or D3. It's also not your traditional JUCO. It's a smaller affiliate. 13 games, 11 starts, went 9-0 with a 1.56 ERA. Struck out 48 versus 6 walks in 15-8 and a 3rd innings, but has struggled a bit more with her ERA and with her control. And she bounces that one up there. Good job by Birch to bounce over to her left and to keep Braga and potentially Paulina at their respective bases. Seidner behind to Roxanne Vento, 1-0 as Vento chops it over to the first baseman, Kennard, who will take it to first base. It's a big first out as Vento, one of the more dangerous hitters in the conference. But she'll leave it up to Gia Razkowski and Ari Bellotta here with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out. Vento comes over and chats with Bellotta. You can see that on your screen as Gia Razkowski, tied for second in the conference coming in today with her 17 RBI, steps up. Has a single and a strikeout here in game 2 as she hits a towering fly ball foul behind the bullpen over there on the 3rd base side. If this is the first time that you've seen Gia, well, Gia hits a lot of foul balls. Typically gets ahead and will just mash balls to the left side as she takes that one low. Has done a better job this season of hitting the ball to the opposite field, but still does typically foul off quite a few balls. Has 2 runners in scoring position here with 1 out. Takes that one high, 2-1. Now there's no lights at the UMB softball field, but there's some construction lights up behind from the pits over to the left and right. Is right now we have Natalia Ardagna, the Beacons head coach, coming out to talk to the base umpire, and I think they're potentially asking about an illegal pitch, as Ardagna just wants to ask the base umpire to watch that, Christopher Dion. And not only does that potentially lead to the softball equivalent of a baseball balk, but also maybe a little in the head of Hannah Seidner, who's in a tough spot here with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out. As Raskowski still at the plate, a little bit high, and it runs to 3-1 as the softball field just got real quiet. All the chatter just stopped as it's 3-1. The question on the Beacon side is Seidner keeping her foot down at all times? Otherwise, it is an illegal pitch, which would allow the runners to advance. 3-2 here as Raskowski swings through that one. Overpowered by the fastball. Full count with 1 out. Bragg at third base. She singled to lead off. And then Paulina at second, hit by a pitch. 3-2 pitch. That one's hit deep into left field. Tailing foul, and that one's going to be off the wall in foul territory. That one was about 2 feet to the right. Might have been caught, but it would have led to a run. Instead, Raskowski has new life. Gia is tied for the program record in home runs and needs 1 double to tie Sue Killaley's record for doubles. She's an extra base hitting machine and would love to get one right here to extend the Beacons' lead out past 3-1. 3-2 pitch, little high. Raskowski ducked down, and it's a walk to load the bases up. Things don't get much easier for Hannah Seidner. The relief pitcher who came on for Allison Moylan is Ari Bellata steps up. Bellata hit into a fielder's choice her first at bat, walked and scored in the 3rd. Very strong batter who the Beacons want to keep her bat in as much as possible. She's also a bit of a utility player. She can play, she's a backup shortstop, 3rd baseman, and even can play a little bit of outfield as well. Ahead in the count 1-0, and she'll rip that one out into left field. It's going to get caught there by the left fielder, but run will easily score as the ball bounces back to the second base bag. A sacrifice fly for Bellata. Cassidy Emerson didn't even try to throw the runner out. Was cut off. They tried to get Paulina, who did not advance. And it's 4-1 UMass Boston. So runners at first and second with 2 down for Caitlin Morse. Morse still looking for that first hit of the day. She takes a fastball knee-high for strike 1 on the inside portion of the plate. She's 0 for 1 here in game 2. A ground out to short and a perfect sack bunt to the 3rd baseman. 2 on, 2 outs. Morse takes another fastball and 2. Beacons scored 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 1 more here in the 4th, looking to tack on to their 4-1 lead. Morse takes it low, no advance, 1-2. Decent speed on the base pass with Paulina and Raskowski, the center fielder and right fielder, out there. Beacons trying to get Alyssa Tulley up for the 3rd time in this game, already 2 for 2. Morse chops it down the 3rd baseline foul. Sort of a defensive swing there, and it stays at 1-2. Plymouth State took the opener 3-0. A complete game shutout from Caitlin Miller. UMass Boston looking to answer with the split. Morse chops it down the 1st baseline foul, and we'll do it again. Always tough when you're seeing a relief pitcher for the first time middle of the game. Something you don't see much in softball, much more of in baseball. But the Beacons still trying to figure out Hannah Seidner, the sophomore transfer. Takes that one a little bit low for strike 3, and the Beacons leave 2 more on in the 4th, but they get another run on the sacrifice fly from Bellata. We head to the bottom of the 4th. The Beacons have their largest lead of the day at 4-1. 4-1, bottom of the fourth. The Beacons with their biggest lead as Cassidy Emerson, who made a nice play out there in left field for the second out of the fourth inning, steps up for the second time. She singled through the left side and scored back in the second. Haley Birch due up second and Emma Rhodes third. 6, 7, and 8 in the Panthers lineup. Panthers team does not score a lot of runs. Came in with averaging just 2.88 per game. Scored 3 in the opener. 1 thus far in game 2. You can see it's getting a little darker. Sunset was due for 7:15 tonight, but we never saw the sun. It's been a gray, cloudy, but not rainy, fortunately, day. As that one is sniped right at Mitziaris for the first out of the inning. There was heavy rain yesterday and more rain in the forecast for tomorrow, as the Beacons were supposed to play Framingham State tomorrow. That game has been moved to the 27th of April. It'll still be played here at the UMB softball field. Fortunately, the forecast for Saturday, when both of these teams are scheduled to play home doubleheaders, is much nicer. No rain in the forecast. Temperatures a little bit warmer, as the high today was 44, and it's certainly not 44 anymore. Temperatures have been dipping ever since opening pitch of game 1. Don't know where that pitch was, as it was very close to where Morse struck out, if not a little bit higher on the outside half. 2-0 to Haley Birch, who has the lone RBI hit of the day for Plymouth State in game 2. An RBI double to the wall and left back in the second. The catcher fouls that one back to the stop, 2-1. 2-1, 1 out, bottom of the fourth. Beacons looking for their first win in conference play this season. Dropped the opener 3-0. Beacons stand at 13-4. Plymouth State at 9-8. UMass Boston to host Eastern Connecticut State on Saturday. Plymouth State is scheduled to play UMass Dartmouth as Braga ranges to her left, throws across, and the Beacon shortstop erases Birch 6-3. Plymouth State, not sure how their field is a week after some more snow, but they're scheduled to host UMass Dartmouth on Saturday at 1. If not, that game could be moved down to Dartmouth. They don't have another home game scheduled till the 13th of April, and then their next home game the 25th. So hopefully the Panthers can get some home games in Plymouth, New Hampshire at some point. They don't have many home doubleheaders scheduled this season. This was one of 5, 4 of them coming in conference play. 1-0 to the 8-hole hitter Emma Rhodes in her second at bat. Struck out swinging the first time up. Takes it on the outside corner, 1-1. The construction lights out there in left and center field working on the dorms and the new parking garage is actually pretty beneficial. Provides a little bit of extra light. One just misses, 3-1. Greenspan has issued just the 1 walk. That came in the first inning with 2 down. Sunset supposed to fall in an hour and 4 minutes. Don't think we'll have many issues as we're already in the bottom of the 4th inning. This game is flown through as that one bounces up there, and now it's 3-1. Scoreboard operator got a little bit ahead of herself. Good work from Carly Robinson, who's been out here for this full doubleheader, doing the PA announcing as well. And the music, yeah. A 3-tool worker right now. As it's fouled off, the count runs full. The Beacons lead 4-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Full count to the 8-hole hitter with 2 down and no one on. Greenspan looking to get her second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. Swung on and miss. Jess Greenspan using the breaking ball to her advantage. That's strikeout number 3 in game number 2. We head to the 5th. UMass Boston looking to add on some more runs. They lead 4-1. Already the third time we've seen Alyssa Tulley step to the plate here in game number 2 as she'll lead off the 5th. She's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles and an RBI. Takes the first pitch, a bouncer for ball 1. Tulley on the day, 4 for 5. She has had a tremendous sophomore campaign, playing very good defense at third as well as being a big-time hitter towards the bottom of the Beacons order. This UMass Boston team does not have an easy out 1 through 9. That pitch, a little bit too far inside. Count runs to 2-1. Really the only hitter under 300 right now is Caitlin Morris, a second-team all-conference player who's going to end up playing in the most games in program history if she keeps it up, as Tulley rips one but well foul. No reason to even give chase out there if you're Cassidy Emerson in left. Morris, a proven 4-year starter who Beacons hope will figure it out sooner rather than later, and a pretty good defensive second baseman. Puts a lot of pressure on opposing teams' pitching and defense as Tulley rips another one. A little bit shorter, a little bit harder, a cue shot down the left field line, and they're potentially out of softballs. Look into the Beacons dugout, and they'll find a new one. 2-2 to the Beacons 7-hole hitter, Alyssa Tulley. She singled to center. She singled to right center. See if she tries to find one in left center here. As the 2-2 is low, 3-2. Tulley had 20 hits as a freshman. She's up to 21 as a sophomore. And about 40 less at bats. Count still full. Tulley fouling off another pitch down the left side. She'll be followed by Lauren Mitziaris and Kira Pressmack. 3-2 pitch, another foul ball, and that one will catch one of the bats at the end of the Plymouth State dugout. One of the Plymouth State players, one of the reserves, was running out to grab some of those foul balls. She almost should have just stayed out there as Tulley has put together a double-digit at bat here against Hannah Seidner. 3-2 offering, another foul ball. That one is slowed down by a fan on the Plymouth side. And we'll do it again. Tulley's getting her money's worth on this at bat, looking to go 3 for 3 on the day. This is the first time she's faced Seidner, who came on back in the 4th. She'll pop that one up on the left side. Morrow going over, and she'll make the running play. So after a lengthy at bat, Alyssa Tulley's retired for the first time in game 2. Bring up Lauren Mitziaris, 1 for 2 here in game 2 with the run scored. Pops up a ball on the right side. Calling for it is Rhodes, and Mitziaris is now 0 for her last 2 on 2 pitches, popping the ball up on the right side both times. Bring up Kira Pressmack. Pressmack 3 for 3 in game 1. Single and a run scored in the second. She hit her hardest hit ball since her first at bat back in the 3rd, but it was right at Katie Kennard, the first baseman. Pressmack lets it bounce in front of home plate for ball 1. She's now 20 of 50 on the season, hitting 400 exactly with the home run and 5 RBI to her name. Can also give her 11 runs scored. Pressmack hits it over the third baseman's head and bounces in front of the left fielder. Pressmack, a long look. Now she's going to go into second, and she is well out. So Pressmack, the single, but a hesitation around second, and she knew it as she was 4 or 5 steps late. The Beacons get a hit, but not much more here in the 5th. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Plymouth State needs runs. They trail by 3, 4-1 after 4.5. 9-1-2 for Plymouth State in the fifth. Jess Greenspan is now retired 8 in a row after going 1, 2, 3 in the third and the fourth, including a 3-pitch third. It'll be Deb Morrill, Nina Murray, and Rachel Morrissey. Morrill has not had an official at bat in this game 2, was hit by a pitch after going 1 for 2 in game 1. Takes the first pitch low for ball 1. For UMass Boston in that fifth inning, just the one hit, and then Pressmack was thrown out at second. It's the first time the Beacons have not left a runner on in today's game. They'd left 8 through the first 4. It was also the first time the Beacons hadn't scored a run since the first. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. It's quickly 2-0 to Morrill, the sophomore shortstop out of Concord, New Hampshire. She's 4 for 20 on the season and ahead in the count 3-0. Has worked 1 walk this year. Stolen 2 bases. Just trying to get on here ahead of the top of the order as Plymouth State down to their final 9 outs, trailing by 3. (3-0) to Morrill. Takes it on the outside corner for strike 1. Greenspan has walked 1 and hit another. He's also struck out 3. The conference's leader in strikeouts, 5 on the day, pushing her total to 54. Greenspan looks in, and a soft grounder over to short. Braga tries to get her counterpart, and just able to hold on to the bag is Mitziaris. Big play there from the senior first baseman, known for her defense, to get the first out of the inning and to help out Braga over there at short as her throw is a bit high. Mitziaris is able to range up and hold the toe. That's now 10 in a row retired by Greenspan after Plymouth had scored a run in the second. She hit a batter to put 2 on and then got a ground out to first and a strikeout. Has retired every batter she's faced since. It's 0-1 to Nina Murray, who led off the bottom of the first with a double and was stranded at third and then grounded out to first to start this run of 10 in a row. And I should say 9 in a row because it's just good stats. 0-2 with 1 down for Murray. Looking to get something going here in the bottom of the fifth. Takes it low and outside, 1-2. My name is Seth Dorensky. Bring you both ends of this doubleheader. Plymouth State took the opener 3-0. UMass Boston looking to take game 2 and earn the split. In this, the first home games of the year for Plymouth State and the first time the Beacons have played on their home field. Strike 3 looking. Greenspan, a beautiful breaking ball for her 4th strikeout of game 2. She's had strikeout in back-to-back innings now and a strikeout in 4 of the first 5 frames as she faces off against Rachel Morrissey. 0 for 1 with the strikeout swinging. Also put down a sac bunt. Hits that one out to right. Morse will take a couple steps onto the grass and catch the pop-up. 11 straight retired by Jess Greenspan. We head to the 6th. Beacons looking for some more runs in support of their freshman pitcher. Top of the order for UMass Boston, the 6th. Gigi Braga is now batting for the 4th time today. Pair of singles, a run scored, and a strikeout swinging. Even the count at 1-1 for the two-sport athlete. All-conference pick in soccer. Also a starter at shortstop for UMass Boston, the leadoff hitter. Takes it a little bit wide there, 2-1. A long look back from Braga, making sure she was ahead in the count. She struck out 3 times today, has a pair of hits. Puts down a bunt that goes just foul. It was going to get past Landers, but couldn't keep it in along the third base side, and it's 2-2. Braga, the reigning Little East Conference Rookie of the Week, after a big doubleheader against Bridgewater State. Hit .500 last week with a couple of runs scored, couple of stolen bases. After they check the count, it'll stay at 2-2. Top of the 6th, Beacons lead 4-1. 2-2 pitch. Braga flares it over the head of third base coach Josh Bartley, and it'll stay there at 2-2. UMass Boston looking to move to 12-2 against New England competition. I mentioned that because one of the key stats when it comes to potential at large bids, not that we're anywhere close to that, is it's a hard hit ball at Morrill. Picks it up cleanly and gets Braga. Great play by Deb Morrill, showing off just why she's capable of playing shortstop despite being a left-hander. But one of the at-large criteria in certain sports is your record against in-region opponents. And the Beacons done better against in-region opponents than out-of-region. Went 2-2 in Florida against out-of-region teams as Paulina flares it into her own dugout. Taylor Paulina, the Beacons center fielder, facing off against Hannah Seiden, the reliever, for the first time. She was the last batter to face Allison Moylan, who got the start and went 3 innings plus, allowing 4 runs, 3 earned. Paulina hit into a pair of fielder's choices and then was hit by a pitch. So that one is flared out to the right field line and not caught. Out of our vision as Nina Murray gave chase just out of her reach. 0-2 to Paulina, who hit 6th in game 1. Moved up to 2nd, switching spots with Caitlin Morse. Paulina, the reigning Little East Conference Player of the Week. First time in her career after a big doubleheader. She hits it hard, but Landers sticks out the glove and makes the play. Nice plays by both of the infielders on the left side to get the top 2 hitters in the Beacons lineup. But now it's Roxanne Vento stepping up. Vento walked in the first and was stranded at third. Had an RBI single in the second and was stranded at first. And then was the first hitter to face Seidner and grounded out to the first baseman as she's way out ahead of the first pitch breaking ball, 0-1. Top 6 here, we go 7 in collegiate softball. Despite the fact that the Beacons are playing at the UMB softball field, we'd have to go both ends unless Plymouth State takes the lead in the bottom half of this inning, as despite the fact that we're playing in Boston, Plymouth State is the home team due to some conference bylaws. Vento rips it out to center. It's not going to be a 1-2-3 6th. The Beacons have now had at least 1 hit in every inning, as Vento improves to 2 for 3 in game 2. And we'll bring up Gia Raskowski, but first a pinch runner for UMass Boston. Vento will be replaced, waiting on the player to step out of the dugout. Be either Chaselyn Bergio or Kayla Harris. And instructions being given. Vento's just waiting. For UMass Boston, they will actually pinch run Giovanna Bonilla for Roxanne Vento. Bonilla makes her LEC debut. The freshman from Queens, New York, making her 13th appearance.
Number 16, Gia Raskowski.
Attended Archbishop Malloy High School, won the Catholic High School Athletic Association City, and then the state title as a junior. She's named the second team all-conference player. She's over there at first base with 2 down. First pitch is high to Raskowski, 1-0. Raskowski hit a pair of home runs in her last game. Only one of them counted. At least her last game before today against Salve Regina, as she pops that one up a mile high and foul. I feel like I've said that quite a few times today. That one top of the roof. Second or third time she's done that. In today's game 2, a single to center, a strikeout swinging to end the second, and a walk. Looking for her first extra base hit of the day. 1-1 pitch low, bounces up there. Bonilla will stay put. 2-1. Got to give a lot of credit to Haley Birch. She has done a really nice job of keeping a lot of bouncing balls in front of her from all three pitchers. Really good defensive player out of Salem, Connecticut. Ripped foul. So Raskowski still just trying to work that internal compass towards fair territory. She's hit the ball hard, just hasn't necessarily been able to place it. 2-2 to the Beacons senior right fielder. Rare doubleheader where she won't spend any time behind the plate. Not sure what's going on. The first base umpire is having a conversation with either some Beacons fans or someone in the dugout. One of the Beacons coaches, as they're still going on over that illegal pitch. Natalia Ardagna was talking about it earlier, came out and talked to Christopher Dion. Still thinks that Seidner is crow-hopping a bit. Have to give some credit to Ari Bellata in the on-deck circle, just giving some extra information to our broadcasters. We don't have the greatest view of the first base side. Raskowski, a deep bomb, but well fouled. Gia probably leads UMass Boston in the distance that balls are hit off the bat. Not that anyone keeps that stat at Division III. That one is grounded foul, and we'll do it again. Probably also leads the Beacons in amount of pitches per at bat, as she has fouled off quite a few balls today. 2-2, 2 outs, runner on first, Giovanna Bonilla, the pinch runner for Roxanne Vento. They're looking for softballs, and they're going to have to go back to the cubbyhole, as now there's a ball being thrown onto the field, and Seidner has at least won it. So we're back to action. 6:31, top of the sixth, 45 minutes left of sun behind the clouds. Ball's low, 3-2. There are no actual lights over this softball field, so when the sun sets, the game ends. The Beacons right now would be okay with that, leading 4-1, but both teams are going to try to get this game finished one way or another, the full regulation 7. 3-2 pitch to Raskowski, flares it foul. Just not waiting quite enough. The pull hitter. And really, if you're Cassidy Emerson and even the center fielder, Rachel Morrissey, you have to start creeping a couple steps further and further towards the left field line, trying to cover that, maybe catch a foul ball. As Raskowski's hit quite a few of them down the left side. There's a couple of fans standing right behind the Plymouth State dugout, and those are the ones who are really in foul ball territory as she rips one foul towards the back of the rink. She's been a lengthy at bat. Seidner, who came on as a reliever in the fourth, is already up to 51 pitches. Raskowski takes it inside for ball 4, so Raskowski wins the battle, and the Beacons have 2 on for Ari Bellata. So, second walk of the day for Gia Raskowski. Came in as one of the Beacons' leaders. And Gia, who's walked twice in game 2, now has at least 11 as that one's fouled off. Kennard is under it and makes the play. So Bellata takes the first pitch and can't do much with it. The Beacons leave 2 more on here in the 6th. UMass Boston has left 10 through 6, but they do lead 4-1 here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Middle of the order for Plymouth State. Maybe a chance for them to get some runs back. Trailing 4-1. Katie Kennard, Abree Davis, and Jen Landers 3-4-5 to face off against Jess Greenspan for the third time here in Game 2 as that one's fouled off. Down the right field line, Raskowski gives chase, doesn't get there. But not just the third time in this game number 2. This is the 7th at bat for Kennard of the day, the 7th against Greenspan, who has worked the first 11 innings for UMass Boston, out there for her 12th, looking for the second complete game and potentially first conference win of her season. So it's 1-1 now to Kennard. 0 for 2 in Game 2, a strikeout looking at a ground out to short. The good thing is that Jess Greenspan is just basically an Energizer bunny out there as that ball is ripped past Braga, slowed down by the grass, and that'll stay just a single. On a warmer day, maybe would have had enough to get all the way through for a double, but Kennard is a leadoff base runner.
Number 17, Abree Davis.
Greenspan went the whole way against Bridgewater State last Thursday. The whole 14 innings on Monday as that one's hit hard out to center field. This one is deep and it's off the bottom of the wall. It's going to score Kennard likely as Morse catches it. The throw home is not in time and the runner will stay at second base. An RBI double from Abree Davis. Plymouth State cuts the lead in half at 4-2. Second RBI double of Game 2. One from Davis, one from Birch, and now a big spot for Jen Landers. Plymouth State keep it going, but first a pinch runner. Pinch runner for Abree Davis will be
Second base, number 11, Autumn Bior.
Autumn Bior, who came on as a pinch runner in Game 1 as well. Bior, the sophomore out of Highgate, Vermont, appearing in her 10th game, 0 for 11 on the season with 2 runs scored, 1 stolen base. She's now appeared in 6 of 7. She's out there at second base replacing Abree Davis, who can check back in and likely will. But no rush as the designated player. She won't have to check back in till her next at bat. Plymouth State hopes that they get a next at-bat for Autumn Davis, who isn't due up for another 9 batters. That one catches the outside corner. Strike 1 to Jen Landers. 0 for 2. Hit into a fielder's choice. Ground out as Morris went to Braga, second baseman to shortstop, and then flew out to right to end the third. Ball is flared out to right. Raskowski going back on it and will make the play. No! Drop ball in foul territory. Could have been the first out of the inning. Oh and 2 as Greenspan will look to get Landers instead. That single and then the double from Plymouth State snapped a streak for Greenspan where she had retired 11 in a row. Absolutely dominant 1, 2, 3 innings from the 3rd through the 5th, but Plymouth State coming out with new vigor here in the bottom of the 6th. Trail 4-2 now after the RBI double from Abree Davis, who's been pinch run for since then by Autumn Bior. 0-2 to Jen Landers, the third baseman who's had a nice day. Almost swung. Did she offer? She did, according to the home plate umpire, for strike 3. Landers can't believe it. Home plate umpire is Wayne Harzlow, and I'm really not sure what, outside of asking Christopher Dion, the base umpire, what you can do about this. But even then, the home plate umpire has a better look than the base umpire. Question is, did she go there? It was very, very close. In fact, to be quite frank, I don't quite think she did, but Bruce Addison's going to have the argument nonetheless. He's the third base coach, head coach, 14th year with Plymouth State. She lunged at it and then tried to pull back. It would be the first out of the inning and a big one. If it is strike three, it's the 5th of the day for Greenspan in game 2, 7th overall. Addison just asking Harslow to check with the base umpire, but Harslow doesn't seem to want to. This is a long animated conversation. 6:40 on the East Coast. 35 minutes of sunlight left. And it is going to be strike three. So Landers retired for the first out of the 6th. 5 strikeouts now for Greenspan. She's up to 56 on the season. And it'll bring up Cassidy Emerson. Emerson 1 for 2 with the run scored today. She singled through the left side in the second and scored on a Haley Birch RBI double. And lined out to first. It's hit the ball hard in both of her at-bats in game 2. Behind the count, 0-1. Emerson, the left fielder for Plymouth State in both ends of today's doubleheader. Low, skips through Vento, and that'll be a wild pitch as Bior advances over to third base. So now Plymouth State could potentially get a run with an out and cut the deficit to 4-3. 1-1, breaking ball on the outside corner, 1-2 with the changeup. Can Greenspan hold the runner at third? She gave up 3 runs, 1 earned in the first game. 2 earned thus far in game number 2 as she looks for her conference-leading 10th win of the year. 2-2 pitch fouled off into the Beacons dugout. One and two, runner on third with 1 down. Plymouth State already with 2 hits in the inning. They have just 5 in the game. As it continues to get chillier and chillier. 1-2 pitch, foul back over the stump, and we'll do it again. UMass Boston with 4 runs on 10 hits and no errors. Plymouth State with 2 runs on 4 hits. This will get another one home as Morse's only play is to first. And the Panthers cut the deficit to 1 after the wild pitch advances Bior, and she comes in on the ground out. So Emerson picks up an RBI to go along with the run scored. And it'll bring up Haley Birch. Birch had an RBI double back in the second. Grounded out to short in the 4th and has played very good defensive catcher. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 1 with the bases clear now. See if that wild pitch comes back to haunt the Beacons. It's the lead down to 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. 0-1 pitch, up and in, 1-1. Greenspan's got to be tired after throwing every pitch today for the Beacons, as does Roxanne Vento, who's been behind the plate. 80 pitches for Greenspan here in game 2. That one is fouled off. Nearly caught a couple of people down there towards the end of the bench. Fortunately, everyone able to get out of the way, but it was close. 1-2. It was 80 pitches. Playing a little guessing game with our statistician, Josh Ruffin. 1-2, just barely staying alive there. Birch able to just get a piece of the breaking ball and avoid being a strikeout casualty. Greenspan, I want to amend an earlier stat. She's up to 6 strikeouts as that ball is flared right at Mitziaris. Went up the ladder a bit, and Plymouth State is retired in the 6th, but not before they get 2 runs on 2 hits. We head to the 7th. It's a 1-run ball game. So the Beacons look for the split here in the opening Little East Conference doubleheader of the year for these two sides. 6:45 on the East Coast. It'll be 6-7-8 to start the 7th inning. Caitlin Morse, Alyssa Tulley, and Lauren Mitziaris, a pair of seniors sandwiching their red-hot sophomore. UMass Boston looking for some insurance runs as the Beacons led 4-1 going into that last half inning. Both teams will re-enter their starters. Roxanne Vento back into the game along with Bree Davis. First pitch to Morse, hit slowly over to Landers, the throw across, and Morse is retired 5-3 on the first pitch of the 7th inning. Oh, 0-1 to Alyssa Tulley, who's had 4 hits on the day. Second in the Beacons behind Kira Pressmack, who has 5, as Tulley rips the ball right in front of the Plymouth State bullpen. Between Alyssa Tulley and Gia Raskowski, the Beacons have crushed balls, and it looks like a fan was hit over there, as Josh Bartley, the Beacons' third base coach, is called for the Beacons trainers. And we're going to have a brief delay as Ed Perkins, the Beacons head trainer, goes over to have a chat along with Lee Macris, excuse me. A couple of Plymouth State fans have been over there. And right now the trainer's kid is being run across the field by Beacons assistant coach Sue Killalay, who also served as the Beacons trainer down in Florida because of some unforeseen circumstances. So tons of people over there attending. And Alyssa Tulley, who just potentially hit someone, is behind the count 0-2. Tulley hits that one out to left. This one has a chance to stay in play. Instead, it's over the fence but foul. And Tulley, who certainly has home run distance right now, just needs to straighten it out. She has crushed the last 2 pitches she's seen. Cassidy Emerson has gotten her sprints in. Just watched a lot of foul balls just off the playing surface as Tulley takes that one 1-2. Beacons lead 4-3. 2 runs in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Tulley hits it hard at the shortstop. Morrill slows it down, the throw across, and Kennard able to make the scoop over there at first on a bang-bang play to retire Tulley. Bring up Lauren Mitziaris. 1 for 3. Single to center and a run scored. A fly out to right. A pop up to second. She's had short at-bats in each of her last 2 trips as we've got a lot of people looking around. Ardagna over there having a conversation about that play at first base. It was very, very close, but don't think Ardagna is going to get a reversal in the calls. If the Beacons can't get any insurance, it'll be up to Jess Greenspan to hold on to a 1-run lead as Mitziaris takes that on the outside corner. Breaking ball that she thought missed a little bit. Unappreciative of the call, 0-1. Beacons looking for the split after dropping the first game 3-0. A 1 pitch on the same spot with fastball this time, 0-2. Hannah Seidner has done her job. Since coming on in relief, she hasn't allowed an earned run, allowed just one of the 2 runners she inherited to score. As Mitziaris hits that one out to left, going back on it is Emerson, and she'll make the play in front of the lights. So the Beacons go 1-2-3 in the 7th. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Can the Beacons hang on? They lead 4-3 with 8-9-1 stepping up to the dish in the bottom of the 7th. 8-9-1, at least as it stands for Plymouth State, to start the bottom of the seventh. Could see some pinch hitters. We saw Deb Morrill be pinch hit for in game one. First pitch to Emma Rhodes is low. Rhodes, the senior out of Rochester, New Hampshire, came in hitting .333 in today. In game two, she's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Had a better game one. Takes the breaking ball 1-1. Morrill is in the on-deck circle. See if Bruce Addison makes any changes depending on what happens here with Rhodes as she fouls it off 1-2. Jess Greenspan looking for her conference-leading 10th win of the year. The UMass Boston program record for wins this season is 14. Set by Michelle Zullo. Graduated a couple years back. And Greenspan has started a few more games than I think even she expected to as a freshman because of some injuries. But she's on the verge of win number 10 and what would be a 10-3 record, a sparkling record for the freshman of Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Ball hit softly up the middle. Morris is going to range to her right. Long play. The throw across. Not in time. That one was bang, bang, and Rose just barely beats it. That was a slow hit ball.
Now for the Panthers, number 23, Deb Morrill.
And it gives the Panthers the game-tying run over there at first base with no outs. Have to figure that Deb Morrill will try to put down the bunt, move the runner into scoring position for the top of the order here. Morrill hit by a pitch and grounded out to shorten her two at-bats. Bunts it over to Greenspan, picks it up, throws, and Morse will look over at the runner at second. One down now with the runner at second.
Now for the Panthers.
It'll bring up Nina Murray. A double, a ground out to first, and a strikeout looking. Huge at bat here for Jess Greenspan with Emma Rhodes at second. Murray, the leadoff hitter. First pitch low. Vento does a great job to get down and keep it in front 1-0. Rhodes scored 28 runs her first two seasons. Not much of a base stealer, though. First 1-0 pitch. Fastball just off the corner, 2-0. Plymouth State looking for a run to tie it. 2 runs to potentially walk off here in what is their home opener. UMass Boston looking to hold off the late rally. Plymouth State got 2 in the 6th to cut it to 4-3. 2-0 pitch. Grounded, and it'll stay fair. Mitzi Yaris will tab the bag. And the runner moves up to third with 2 down. It'll be a battle. Rachel Morrissey, the center fielder for Plymouth State, and Jess Greenspan, the Beacons freshman pitcher.
Now for the Panthers,
Morrissey, a
number 3,
senior.
Rachel Morrissey.
Greenspan, a freshman. Greenspan has thrown every pitch today, looking to close out her 13th inning of work and the Beacons' first ever. And the Beacons' first conference win of 2017. Greenspan looks for the sign. First pitch off the corner. 1-0. You don't want to extend this past Morrissey as Katie Kennard had a single in her last at-bat and a run scored. Bree Davis, an RBI double. Those are the 2 best hitters on this team statistically. Morrissey today in game 2, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Also put down a sac bunt. Quickly 2-0. Greenspan has not walked a batter since the first inning. He's worked back from several 2-ball, 3-ball counts. Runner on third with 2 down. 2-0 pitch on the corner. Morrissey taking the whole way. It's 2-1. Sure, Plymouth State came in today thinking a split would be great, but now they really want the sweep. The Beacons just hoping to salvage it and improve to 14-4, 1-1 in conference. 2-1 pitch, breaking ball. That one somehow missed. 3-1. That pitch has been there all day long, except when it counted right there. 3-1 now with Kennard lurking on deck. This is pitch number 90. Morrissey still looking for her first hit, 95, excuse me. 3-1, pitch misses well outside. A 5-pitch walk, and that'll bring Katie Kennard, the most dangerous hitter in the Panthers lineup, to the plate. Kennard, a strikeout looking, a ground out to short, and a single through the left side, and a run scored back in the 6th. First team all-conference player a year ago, looking to at least tie this, if not have her team walk off. The runner at third is Emma Rhodes. She singled to second, moved over to second on a sac bunt, and a third on a grounder to Lauren Mitziaris, the Beacon's first baseman. Morrissey over there at first base after the walk. She's the go-ahead run, what would be the winning run. Kennard swings and misses at the first pitch, overpowered by the fastball. 0-1 pitch. That one just off the corner, 1-1. Fans of both teams have not been happy with this strike zone, and that's a difficult one. The outside portion of the plate is what both pitchers have been thriving on. 1-1 here. We'll see if Greenspan goes back inside. 1-1 pitch from Greenspan, swung on and missed, and Plymouth State down to their final strike. Greenspan at 99, hoping pitch number 100 can finish it. Hopefully in her favor. Already has 6 strikeouts, looking for a 7th. Greenspan winds. The pitch is a little bit low. Runner takes off for second, no throw. And now the winning run out there at second base. Good base running there from Rachel Morrissey, who knew the Beacons were focused on the out. And now it becomes even more tense. 2-2, 2 on, 2 outs. Beacons clinging to a 4-3 lead. 2-2 pitch. That one off the corner, and it's a full count to Katie Kennard. First base is open, but Bree Davis lurks on deck, who had the big RBI double in the last inning. See what the Beacons call. She's been lethal with the breaking ball, but it's a dangerous pitch with a 3-2 count. Ball bounces up there. The bases are loaded. Force out at any base, excuse me. Bree Davis, the designated player, steps up. Davis walked in her first at bat, grounded out to third in the third, and had an RBI double. And her pinch runner came in to score back in the 6th. Huge at bat here between Davis, the junior DP, and Greenspan, the Beacons freshman pitcher. And both sides are going to talk it over, with Natalia Ardagna heading out to the mound. She's trying to pump up her freshman pitcher, who's had to go the whole way. Back-to-back walks. She hadn't walked anyone since the first. She now has 3 for the game. 7 o'clock on the East Coast. 15 minutes left of sun. It's not very light out right now, although you can almost see the sun setting behind the clouds. Some nice blue hues over towards Monin Park. In foul territory over to the left side. The Beacons baseball team in action on the Beacons Broadcast Network in about 15 minutes. They take on Suffolk University. Pre-game starts at 7:15. First pitch at 7:30 against the Rams. First pitch to Davis, swung on and missed, probably off the corner, 0-1. Davis was thinking game-winning hit with that first pitch, and knowing that Greenspan was going to try to throw a strike. Davis came in with the team-high 8 RBI. Takes that one low, 1-1. Bases full of Panthers. Nowhere to put him with 2 down. 1-1 pitch. That one is maybe a little bit low. 2-1. Seen a lot of batters dejectedly walk away from home plate today on pitches that were pretty close to where that one was. 2-1. Pitch is flared out into foul territory and right. Raskowski going over. Can't get there. It's 2-2. Raskowski raced as fast as she could, but couldn't quite get there in time. Plymouth, for the second straight batter, down to their final strike. 2-2. 2 outs. Bases loaded. Beacons lead 4-3. It does not get any more tense than this in a conference doubleheader. Beacons looking for the split. Panthers looking for the sweep. 2-2 pitch. On the corner, strike 3. A delayed call from Wayne Tarslow, and the Beacons freshman pitcher gets it done. Her 7th strikeout of the game, none more important than that one. And UMass Boston earns the 4-3 victory in what became a very tense finish as she strikes out the cleanup hitter with the bases loaded, and UMass Boston gets the victory. So the Beacons improve to 14-4. Plymouth State falls to 9-9. Both teams at 1-1 in conference play. We'll look ahead. UMass Boston on Saturday will host Eastern Connecticut State in hopefully a little bit warmer weather. It was 39 degrees by the final pitch tonight. The Beacons will then travel to UMass Dartmouth next Saturday, host Keene State about 10 days from today, and then Salem State will be back here at home for a non-conference doubleheader. I'd like to give a shout-out to our production crew for Game 2. My name is Seth Dorensky, your producer and play-by-play guy. Ariana Rivera, the director. Kiana Prince on camera for this very cold but very close doubleheader. The Beacons drop the first one 3-0, earn a 4-3 win in Game 2 as Jess Greenspan strikes out the designated player, Bree Davis, with the bases loaded to end it. Thanks so much for watching, folks, and we'll be back on Saturday just about 12:45 as the Beacons host Eastern Connecticut State for a conference doubleheader in their official home opener.